Well, what a difference a week makes, huh? It's interesting because, you know, for everything I've seen so far, they just keep proving me right. But in my previous gaming video, I said to the community, you have to come together and think about what direction you want this community to go in. Did I not say that? Yeah. And it seems like since then, nobody took that to heart. It almost feels like I'm talking to a wall at this point. Seriously. Because as far as I'm concerned, the things that I've seen in this previous week in the news, gamers just keep disappointing me time and time again by ignoring the real things that are going on in this community and fighting over video games and who likes this, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But you know today what we're going to start with in this gaming video, as we do every time, with EA and their bullshit. Let's get it started, man. Let's go. First off, gamers, all right? People who are sold on Titanfall. How does it feel to buy a game that it's already outdated? How does it feel? Because for those who don't know, Titanfall 2 won't be exclusive to Microsoft because EA thought Xbox was going to beat the PS4 into the ground. All right, that's why it was exclusive. Now remember, about 3 weeks ago we talked about Titanfall, and you know, they were saying how the power of the PS4 and blah blah blah, and it's not that. All right. It's an exclusive deal, which we knew, all right, because they banked on Microsoft. EA did, and it failed. You know, EA, the same people who brag, you know, Peter Moore, I showed you those tweets, you know, who bragged about how they're the leading developer for PS4, but Titanfall isn't for the PS4. Well, now we know Titanfall 2 is coming out. They've already, you know, they haven't announced it, but they've already let you know the link will be in the info bar, okay? So for people who are going to buy Titanfall, you are already outdated, as they are already letting you know that a Titanfall 2 is on its way, and it will be multi-plat. You've got to be kidding me. But yet you're still going to buy this, right? And the sad part is people still don't understand about what's going on with Titanfall because, you know, all the comments and, you know, what people were saying about how, well, nobody really wants to go up against a 40-foot mech. No one can really do that. You know, that's why they got to hide behind walls and things of that nature. That's interesting because Earth Defense Force 2025 proves you wrong again.
No matter how big the enemy troops are, we have to hold our ground. There are people behind us we have to protect.
Air raid is coming. Don't go out too far.
The tactical bomber is closing in on Zone 2.
The enemies have smashed to pieces.
Down. The enemy is approaching Zone 3.
Ready to fire! Bring it! Kill it! Ready to fire!
Commence air raid in Zone 3.
Hold on!
This is Scout 6. Large units are approaching Zone 1.
The enemies you take down! It's your turn,
This is Scout. The enemies are approaching Zone 4.
Commence air raid in Zone 4.
I'm loading my ammo!
This is Scout! Many enemies in Zone 5! It's an incredible number! At this rate, we'll all be killed! We're being attacked from the ground and the sky! There's no way we can hold out! This is Zone 4. There are too many enemies! We need support from the Air Force!
Loading! And it goes well!
Zone 4, hold your ground! The flying drone attacks are severe! We can't hold out much longer!
The fighters are in battle with the flying drones.
The flying drones are too great in number.
The bombers left the combat area to get away from the flying drones.
Now let's get something straight before anyone has any judgments on that gameplay video. Understand that gameplay video is of normal mode and a guy who is still learning how to play the game. Anybody who has seen anyone play Earth Defense Force 2025 on its hardest level without spamming rockets, understand it gets very chaotic very quickly, okay? Also understand that you can call for a mech themselves. It almost looks like the Titans, actually. They airdrop it down to you. You can get in the mech, you can destroy robots, you can destroy all these bugs and spiders and ants, armored ants, everything. The game is built for chaos. So I'm not trying to hear anymore that you can't take on large, mechs head on. No, not trying to hear that, all right? It's been proven that you can. Now also understand, I want to go back to Titanfall because the infamous bundle overtakes Titanfall, the Titanfall bundle in pre-orders, all right? Not even gonna get started on Infamous. You guys and girls already know how I feel about Second Son. Not gonna get into that, all right? But it has overtaken the Titanfall bundle. However, speaking of the Titanfall bundle for MS, understand that the copy that you're getting is a digital copy. You cannot resell that copy. You cannot trade it in. It is a digital copy, okay? Now also understand that MS is doing this because they need to slash the prices on their Xbox, which means MS is in trouble. They need to do this, and there's already talks about how they're getting ready to come out with a new version of the Xbox One. So we'll see what happens there. But EA isn't let off the hook just yet. Let's see what more shenanigans that EA has in store.
The team was actually ready for their close-up bright and early this morning. EA Sports was on the scene to take headshots at the players for NBA Live 15. Full disclosure here, I'm not a gamer like our man Malik, but I'm told there are some big-time player experience improvements on deck for this round, set to be released this fall. But in real life, right here, right now, MCW is better than advertised, making his teammates better tonight with 6 assists there in the third quarter.
Molly, we thank you so much for that. Along with Molly Sullivan and Malik Rose, marks him up tonight here in Orlando. You are a gamer.
Yes, I love video games, man. That's what. Actually, I haven't played in a long time. I stopped playing back in July, but before July, the Magic have been in existence for 25 years. It's about the time I've been getting my game on, bro. I was deep in the gaming streets, deep.
Really, EA? You still barking up this tree with NBA Live? You do realize that NBA Live 14 was dead in the water before you put it out, right? It was absolutely atrocious. But it just seems like you don't get it. I told you before. I told you years ago when I did a video, when your community manager and I talked, and you tried to put NBA Live and NBA Jam together and try to sell NBA Live because you knew it wasn't going to sell, and I told you that was wrong and that I was willing to talk to you, and we talked, with the community manager. I'm saying, you know that I know basketball. Anytime you want to talk, it's fine, but it seems like you still want to do this arrogant thing and say these arrogant statements and while putting out bad products. That's what it seems like. So, you know what? I hope you burn. But that's not all. I thought that this video was pretty funny because Malik Rose, for those who know, he is a Philadelphia native here, okay? Malik Rose talked about how he was deep in these gaming streets. Look, Malik Rose is half right and half wrong, okay? I'll put it like that. First off, in the gaming community in Philadelphia, I don't remember Malik Rose being around. Mind you, Malik Rose he used to be a professional basketball player, so I understand that's where most of his time was. But to be in these gaming streets, look, I really should do a video where I go from spot to spot outside and show you where all the competitions were with fighting games and things of that nature, and go from like the Northeast all the way to South Philly and Southwest and show you like all the little spots, not just arcades, but also corner stores where they would be mobbed with people who would just wait to play, check cashing places and stuff like that. Like I said, so to say he was deep in these gaming streets, it's half right because the gaming streets, they were kind of deep. They were, all right? And the thing is, you rarely came across anybody with any nasty attitudes or any, because you knew there was going to be problems. You knew this, all right? But there's also a part of me that says, Malik Rose, nobody remembers you in these gaming streets. You know what I mean? Like, half street cred, half not. Nah, you know what I mean? But I do think that's kind of comical. He said that on air. I think it's kind of comical. But let's keep going because I want to talk about Verizon, and this talks about more about gaming. Verizon wants gamers to pay more for internet usage. That's right. You gamers, understand. You're getting ready to be charged up because Verizon talks about how the way that that you pay for internet now is going to be a thing of the past. They think because of how much data you are using when you play games online that they can start charging you up now. This is what we've seen this not too long ago. Net neutrality, gone. We see Comcast buying out Time Warner. We see all these things are happening. Now, let's rewind for a minute, okay? Remember when we had arcades, we didn't have this problem, all right? PC games were online, and then you had a couple console games that were online. That's what you had. Majority was arcades. The companies took away the arcades from you and said, we want you to play on our networks, all right? So that you don't have to go out. You can sit on the couch and keep playing. Mind you, you do want to go out and socialize, okay? But anyways, they wanted you on their network, right? Okay, now that they got you on their network and you are dependent on that network, now they're going to charge you up the ass. That's what they're doing. Let's be honest here, all right? You already pay X amount of dollars to be online overall, universally, right? Okay, then if you want to get on Xbox, you have to pay to get on Xbox Live, okay? Then Sony said, wait a minute, no, you shouldn't have to pay for online. But then Sony started seeing all the gamers were falling into that bullshit and was like, all right, we might as well make some money off it on the PS4. So you're paying for online, right? Not to mention certain games that you're going to buy with the $60 price tag, which then you'll probably buy the DLC for it, which will go from $80 to $100. So you have that. Okay, then you have other places who, people who buy MMOs, and then you got to pay an extra price tag for that. Not to mention places like EA or any other company, if you look at their terms of service, when you're paying for a game, you're paying for online to play this game that you bought pretty much $80 to $100 now with DLC. I'm including DLC. Not all of you buy it, okay? I'm including that. Then you find out that these games, in the terms of service, they can stop, online from anywhere from 3 to 6 months in their terms of service. So you bought their game full price, you pay it for online, then you have to pay for another network to be online to play those games, okay? Then depending on the game, you may have to pay that fee for that game, then the DLC, only for them to cut you off when they don't, when they meet their grace period of 3 to 6 months. They can just not care anymore and roll that server over to a different game, and the cycle keeps repeating. Gamers have given the companies everything. I hope I didn't lose anybody on that. But gamers have given the companies everything. And every time we talk about how, we need to get it back, you people want to defend these companies. I don't understand it. Why? I put it like this. If Verizon is saying this right now, kids, and I'm saying kids right now because you can tell your parents about this and let them know what's going on. Adults, you already know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even have to tell you. You know this is wrong. This is where the companies are going. If nobody gets angry about this, it will just coast. And before you know it, if other companies see it, just like they saw with MS with Live, just like they saw EA with the online pass, and people start following that, that's exactly what's going to happen. If nobody makes a big stink about it, then they're going to think it's okay. And then you're going to have people who are arguing about, oh, you're just too poor. I will talk about that later. Okay? Once again, gamers are still at each other's throats. It's wrong. Let's move on, okay? Crazy Nintendo investor wants gamers to pay $1 for Mario to jump higher. Or you could just use Luigi. It's the year of Luigi, right? You could do that. Who the hell is paying $1 for Mario to jump higher? And I put this, Nintendo, when someone says something like this, get rid of that investor. You can definitely find another investor. Don't tell me you can't. Nintendo's been doing this since the 80s. All right? One investor is not going to break the bank. I'm sorry, it's just not. Get rid of this investor for even saying something like that. That is a slap in the face to gamers. But it also goes to tell you, this is where the money machine comes in the milking. This is what we have. Okay? However, I do want to talk about more arcades for a minute here. Because U-Bahn, for those who don't know, in Philadelphia, that's right, U-Bahn, the underground lair in Center City, Philadelphia. Now, people understand that we already have some arcades here up in University City. We do. A lot of it is plagued with Street Fighter. Seriously, they have like 7 machines of Street Fighter 4. And, you sit down and you play, and you play whoever, you don't play each other. The way it's set up, it's really weird the way it's set up. A guy from down, the other end of the arcade can challenge you while you're sitting at your, we'll say console, where you're sitting down at your arcade machine and playing. All right, it's really weird, and as far as I'm concerned, it's absolutely ridiculous to have that many machines of Street Fighter when there's so many other fighting games out there that deserve love. You have to have diversity. I may have to go up there and do a video and show you guys and girls. Seriously, just go up there and just to do it and then show you what I'm talking about at this point. But I want to move on. Like I said, U-Bahn, Underground Lair, gotta talk about this for a minute. Understand that the people over here at Brew, now for those who don't know Brew, that's at 13th and Chestnut, okay? It's a bar, okay? And These are the people who did brew, and they're going to do U-Bahn. Understand, this is also another one that's going to be opened up right there around 13th and Chestnut, okay? Now, understand the games that they're going to have there, because they're going to put in for entertainment. They're going to put in Street Fighter, Pac-Man, Golden Tee, which anybody knows, if anyone's ever go to a bar, Golden Tee is like there, right next to like those touchscreen games, you know what I mean? It's automatic with Golden Tee. And they're also going to have Mortal Kombat. Now, the people that are doing this, I know people who know them. I'm going to get in contact with them Monday and see if we can hold some type of tournament there, you know, on their grand opening to show that we can bring in business and things of that nature. Mind you, it is a bar, so it's not like kids can walk in here and just say, hey, I want to play Street Fighter. Now, because you have to be responsible adults, because understand, fighting games, as we already know in the fighting game community, when people lose, they get salty, they want to fight and everything, they get upset and things of that nature. Understand, alcohol and fighting games don't mix, all right? So you have to be somewhat, somewhat mature. I will say this, down in Northern Liberties, we have a barcade, and they don't have any fighting games in there, all right? It's all co-op, all like Operation Wolf and Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles and Gauntlet and stuff like that, NBA Jam. Understand, there's not that many adversarial type games, challenging type games. I guess you don't want to get the emotions too high when most of the places is it's a bar, you know what I mean? Really good place, though. Really fun place. They still run off quarters. It's awesome. All right? But I just want to say that I will be talking to these people on Monday because I want to see if we can get something going when it comes to their grand opening. I really do. It should be cool as far as I'm concerned. It should be fun. Also, in more news, Ubisoft Writer says that gamers are still afraid of gay characters. Seriously? No. Gamers aren't afraid of gay characters. Look, if we were afraid of gay characters, people wouldn't love Fear Effect so much. And, you know, we've seen in the previous 2-3 years that, you know, now that we have these games, they give you the choice on whether you want to be gay or not. I don't understand where, you know, Ubisoft is coming with this. It makes no sense to me as far as I'm concerned. It just sounds like they don't want to do it. And if you think that gamers are afraid of gay characters, look, if that's the case, if people are afraid of anything gay, it's going to span on any entertainment if that's the case. All right? So you're going to eliminate those people or that factor of it because you think that gamers are afraid. Look, gamers are afraid of one thing, all right? And it's not of gay characters as far as I'm concerned. Gamers are afraid to stand up and fight companies. That's what I've seen in my previous couple of years of doing this, as far as I'm concerned. I will talk about that in a little bit too. I do not think gamers are afraid of gay characters. You may not like gay characters, but it doesn't mean that they're afraid. Let's get that straight. There's completely different, you know, completely different thing here going on. Now, I do want to move on because I have to talk about J.P. Kellems. Yes, let's talk about this real quick. All right, J.P. Kellems, for those who don't know, J.P. Kellems is a douchebag. All right, just going to call it as I see it. You people know I've done a video on this before when it came with Platinum Games. J.P. Kellems has a tendency of running his mouth to people online, and now he has done it again once again. I'm trying to figure out how this is professional at all, okay? Now, I want to sit here and say that he goes after Polygon. Now, for those who do not know the history of Polygon, last year I did a video on Polygon exposing their hypocrisy because they had a tendency to trash Dragon's Crown for its sexism. However, they praised Grand Theft Auto 5 to the moon. Okay, there's more detail on that in the video that I did on Polygon. So in no way am I trying to defend Polygon or the gaming media. But what J.P. Kellems gets mad at is ridiculous. Okay, let's start with this, all right? Apparently he held a conference. He talked for like 93 minutes. And only 2 minutes of that, he said it felt like it was only he was talking for 2 minutes because he just kept talking and talking and talking, okay? Just like how I do. However, understand this. The media took one segment, you know, one quote from his 93 minutes and took that as a, you know, a tagline, you know, a header, and ran with it. And this is what it said, okay? It says Polygon's headline was, Bayonetta 2 is exclusive to the Wii U due to changes in business situation. That's what he got mad at. I don't see the problem. The headline isn't slanderous, but let's keep going. Because of his crying, now they've changed it to why Nintendo was the right decision for Bayonetta 2. Now, understand, people, all right? Bayonetta 2 was dead in the water until Nintendo came and picked it up. I've done a video on this before, okay? So, I'm not trying to hear that. J.P. Kellems gets mad, and this is some of his comments, all right? Then it's Polygon, then it is Polygon's BS headline. I never said whose business situation changed. Of course you didn't. It's just a headline. You shouldn't be looking too far into that. But he says, but who cares? That's what he says. But who cares? And then he says right afterwards, I'm just annoyed with your headline. So you do care. You're saying who cares and then say I'm annoyed. Being annoyed means you care. Okay? Let's get that straight. It says, it is a quote. I never said whose business situation changed, though. You guys get to write what you like. I get to be annoyed at any parsing that I feel spins my quote. It's not really a spin. It's not. They took one part and that's it. They didn't say that you were making claims of anything. You just said the business situation changed, which is true. Understand that nobody wanted to take a gamble on Bayonetta 2. And Nintendo stepped up and saved Bayonetta 2. And we all know the backlash to that, because I'm getting that in a minute, all right? So as you can see, and anyone who's ever seen JP Kellems, if you've ever seen him, there will be a link in the info bar. There's a video of him. Don't give me this shit that he's going to rage tweet or whatever and try to act like a douchebag. Anybody who's ever seen his Twitter when he went after, Shatta, understand that it was absolutely wrong of him. And I will guarantee this. If he would have said that to Shatta's face, Shatta would have shattered his face. I'll put it like this. You cannot say these type of things. You want to talk about annoyed? I'm getting tired of frail-framed idiots who think that all of a sudden if they talk all types of ruckus online, you know damn well they wouldn't do it in real life. And it's not just JP Kellems. It's also Cliffy B. It's also people like Tamim. It's also people like David Jaffe. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Any one of y'all can say, he's not about that life or he ain't about her. Whatever you want to call it. We know this. Stop acting like idiots. This is the influence that pushes down to other gamers, because if, developers can do it and companies can do it, then apparently it's okay for the gamers can do it. It's stupid. But no one wants to take responsibility. Again, no one wants to take responsibility. I want to talk about this a little bit more, all right? Because I will put in the info bar, all right? People who are defending this, because, people are saying, hey, maybe we can get a port for this. And I put it like this, I told you before, at this time, in this generation, there shouldn't be things that are exclusive. There shouldn't be. You should be porting. Because who's going to keep buying consoles and systems for one game? And I'm going to talk about, there's a link in the info bar for that too. All right. These people over at, where is this? NeoGAF. They are saying, they're proposing that it's a bannable offense over there on their forums if you ask for a port for something. Right? That's what they're saying. That's what one person is proposing. Yet in the same website, you have people who want Destiny, the game Destiny, they have port expectations. They think it's going to be ported. And one person accepts buying a console for one game. He's going to buy a console for Destiny, just for Destiny. Who buys a console? Look, who turns around and invests in such an expensive console for one game? That is absolutely ridiculous. Come on now. Let's be honest here. It's ridiculous, all right? But I will put those links in the info bar. Platinum fans understand, all right? Because I did a video on this last year as well. The same people who were saying, oh, we should ban people for wanting a port, you were the same people who wanted a port as well in the beginning and then sent death threats to Kamiya because you decided you didn't like Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. Should we go back to that? You were sending death threats. And what did I say in that video? I said it's absolutely wrong. You were sending developer death threats over this. And yet, that's, for some reason, now that you've accepted that and other people still want to know if it's going to be ported, you want to ban them for that. So it was okay for you to act the fool in the beginning, but now that people are just asking simple questions, you want to freak out. And JP Kellems freaks out, so you feel it's okay to start banning people. That's stupid. That is not a reason to ban people, to ask for a port. That's stupid. But this is what it has come to. Gamers are always at each other's throats. I don't understand this and why this is happening, all right? We've got video games now. The industry is being blamed by the toy industry for a decline in sales in toys. That's right. And I put it like this. For people to understand, the toy industry has to understand that they're not making great toys. And where you're seeing, as of late, we're seeing a lot of Skylanders, and Disney has their own thing now where they're actually using the toys to put with the video game. All right, so they're hitting both markets. We know what this is all about, okay? But also understand that the toy industry doesn't want to hear that. So you can keep making bad toys, but you still want to blame the video game industry. Now, look, we all know you shouldn't even be blaming the video game industry. We know in this day of age with tech that kids are they're privy to it. It's not even just they're exposed to it so much more. It's not even about toys. Understand, it could be a cell phone, because we see all these ads, iPods, cell phones, iPads, cameras on the cell phone, anything that they do. It's tech in general. It has nothing to do with just video games as far as I'm concerned. Toys need to step their game up as far as I'm concerned. And when this happens, you get kids also who become entitled. And if you don't believe me, look at this kid who had to sell back his PS3 he got for Christmas, had to get a refund because his grandmother felt as though he didn't appreciate the toy, the Captain America toy that, she got him. So she made him take back the PS3 and use the refund money to spend on other children in need. As far as I'm concerned, that's what he deserves. You should appreciate everything you get, not just, oh, I got a PS3, I don't care about anything else. No, appreciate everything you get, because guess what, kid? When you get older, you're not going to get as much because you have a lot of bills and pay and stuff like that. Understand? I will talk about that in a minute. So while we have gamers who are being unappreciative, gamers trying to ban each other for asking for ports of games, all right? And we have developers going after the media saying they need to go back to school, we have the media who's not inside the gaming media going after all of us once again.
To come out so she would not do it anymore. We do know that she has an affinity for the fantasy game called Dark Soul, which is a very dark, death-laden video game on PlayStation and other kind of video type things where there's a lot of killing involved. We do know that she says that she was abused as a child. She did say that she had an abortion as a result of an unwanted pregnancy.
So let me get this straight, Fox. It wasn't, the child abuse that screwed her up or other personal problems that screwed her up. It's Dark Souls, huh? Do you really want to go here? And look, we all know that this is garbage. But I told you before that you can't ignore these things. And people keep saying, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Are you serious? Are you serious? All this up for years we've been seeing this. And this is all gamers do. Oh, I'm going to put my head in the sand and I'm going to act like it doesn't matter. Or they're uncredible or whatever. Regardless how you feel about Fox News, and I agree with you people, they are uncredible. They are garbage. But it doesn't mean that other people outside of our community don't see that. And they don't believe that. We are vastly outnumbered when it comes to regular society, when it comes to this gaming community. We are seriously outnumbered. We need to start taking these things head on. I've done a number of videos defending gamers on this and companies and developers. And every time I do this, everyone's cool until I have something to say about a developer. And you say, don't talk about a developer. Or a company, you say, don't talk about a company. Or I talk about a YouTuber, don't talk about a YouTuber. And the armies come in. So you can get your armies together to come after me after I've defended you. Yeah. On this. But you can't get together to support charities. You can't get together to fight back against Fox News or MSNBC or was it just regular NBC? I've shown you so many, CNN. I've shown you so many news networks that just try to discredit you gamers and destroy you gamers and target you gamers. And every time I fucking defend you people, all you do is show me disrespect. And before you say, oh, well, we didn't ask you to, stall that shit right there, okay? Because you and I both know it doesn't matter if, you asked. You know it needs to be done. Because if people keep ignoring it while others believe, they're going to think it's fact. But for some reason, that's okay. Right? That's okay, though. Now, speaking of more immaturity with gamers, first off, let's get something straight here, all right? Amazing Spider-Man 2, the pre-order bonus, right? You're getting a suit pack. Remember when that used to be just unlockables? But people are praising them for having, a suit pack pre-order bonus. I don't get this. Remember when you got, you used to get posters and you used to get music CDs and things like that for pre-orders? That's what, in art books, that was what pre-orders were for. Suit packs that you should be able to unlock in-game. Whatever. And the biggest problem I'm having right now, people, I want to talk about Batman Arkham Knight. All right? Now, Batman Arkham Knight trailer comes out. For some reason, people go crazy. First off, it's a full motion video. I don't know why people are going crazy over it. All right? And then they say at the end, pre-order now and get Harley Quinn. So you're just going to already put out the pre-order right there and pre-order now. Let's get something straight here. First off, I don't need this. I don't need this. We're going to have some real talk. Gamers. Did you just forget about 3 weeks ago where WB did not fix Batman Arkham Origins? Did you forget that already so quickly? So they were going to push DLC to you, not fix the game, which a lot of you have admitted is game breaking. And now that they've announced a new game, you're all for it. And a lot of people were saying, well, it's the developers. That, Rocksteady, they know what they're doing. Granted, Rocksteady knows what they're doing. I am for Rocksteady, but also, this is the same Rocksteady that also bled you for DLC as well. All right? That's why all those videos I did was say, wait for Batman Game of the Year Edition, because they're going to bleed you for DLC. Understand, it doesn't matter what developer is doing it. WB calls the shots. They call the shots. All right? They tell them whether they want DLC. They tell them whether to fix things. So it's not about the developer. The developer is in bed with those publishers. So they should feel the heat just like the publishers. That's how I see things. WB is disrespectful. And now we're seeing a lot of gamers fight over that. And now, that's one part. The Origins versus Arkham Knight. And fans are going back and forth. Oh, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. That's another problem we're having too. It doesn't bother gamers. It doesn't affect them until it does, and then it's too late. But now we're seeing that people are arguing back and forth with because it's a PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC exclusive. All right, people want it on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and now gamers are fighting over that. So I want to talk about this because one of you just sent me this message not too long ago. All right, on my phone. Was it? Well, I was checking it on my phone. It says, "So I saw the release for Batman Arkham Knight, and might say it's nice. Just the only problem I have, though, is that the newer generation consoles. I see the boards over at GameFAQs.com are buzzing about people that have the same issue, and two things there stuck out that really ticked me off. One, the main reason is that the older generations cannot handle the requirements." It says, I beg to differ on this. I'm sure it could. Okay? It says, two, for people that don't have the money to spend on a new gen console to play this game, to quit crying. You gotta be kidding me. So people over at GameFAQs are telling people to quit crying. Okay. All right. It says, I saw lots of people saying that they cannot due to paying things called bills and don't make much money. The replies on that were, get better jobs and save money from every paycheck, and then you'll have enough to get one. First off, before I go any further, okay, most of GameFAQs are children. Not all of them. There are some adults on there. A lot of them are children who aren't old enough to get a job. Mommy and daddy are buying their stuff. Don't you dare tell an adult when they have bills to pay to go get a better job. An adult can say that to another adult because we know there are different ways of getting jobs. Like I said, you can get recruiters, you can get temp work, you can do all types of things. All right, you set a budget. That's different. Don't tell me that a child is sitting here talking to an adult and saying that. That is not a good enough excuse for people to say, well, what about last generation? As we know, they didn't even max out last generation. But now it's, we talked about this before. We talked about how people, they're aiming for the higher tax bracket. They want people with more expendable money so they can keep milking you. So for gamers who really didn't have much, what did gamers say to them? Oh, poor people don't deserve to play video games anyway. We've talked about this many a times last year. All right? I believe I did it once this year too. So understand, this is not the way to go about things. But let's keep going. And it's sad because, like I said, it's sad because you have those ignorant kids, and there are some smart kids out there, but those ignorant kids, guess what? They make the smart kids look bad. They do. They really do. It's sad. But it says, all I know is I'm still not getting me one since there are a lot of politics that I don't want to get into with these new systems. It says also the content in my views don't make me jump on it. In my view, it says don't make me jump on it. Plus the major thing is price. It's just a bit much. I wish they had put this game on other systems, but for what I can see, they won't. Yeah, because they're trying to push the new system. We've seen not too long ago Sony brag about how, PSN, subscriptions have went up. Of course, because you're making people pay for it on the PS4. It's not free anymore. So you have to pay for PSN. You just have to. You have to pay for, and if you want that extra deal, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to pay for PSN Plus. You're going to. Understand. This money thing is dividing gamers. I've never seen so much division. When there's a time when we need to come together and see that these problems exist, nobody wants to do that. Everyone's about themselves. Everyone's divide and conquer. We've got people trying to make money off of the system or off of the community and exploit the community. We have all these problems, and yet nobody is stepping to the forefront and saying, hey, let's get together and do this. But if someone talks about whatever favorite company you want, it's a whole different story. Like I said, this is a joke. It's disappointing to have to see this. And, and some of you people sent me messages saying, yo, you should just be like, fuck the community and do your thing. Get out of there. Save yourself. It's amazing how people keep saying that they want the real, and then when you give it to them, they bitch and moan about it. Like, Whatever, man. For real. Understand that all these problems that we're having, and you think that bigger YouTubers would talk about this shit, but no, they're too busy wrapped up in themselves. Yeah. And then when you call them out, then it's, oh, you're just jealous. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. It's pathetic. And yet I'm supposed to just sit here and just be like, oh, yeah, this is not a problem. Look, I don't care what developer does what for what publisher. If they're going to screw the community, you call them on it. Not that hard. But people still scared to do that for some reason. Like I said, everyone's got their head in the sand and just lets things go. Like I said, talk about your favorite game. Let's have a fight about it. Fox News talks about all of us, and it's just ignore them. Let's get back to arguing about games. No. Take this shit head on. It's not that hard. It's enough of you to do it. It's enough of you to call them out on it, but you don't. Look, I'm done, man.